Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're doing well. Tonight's story is not the kind you should listen to before sleeping, because this one is truly disturbing. This experience was shared by Emily, and what happened to her was something she still can't forget. Every house has its own secrets, and some doors, when opened after years, don't just let in air. They let out stories that can break your soul. Emily was a hard-working graphic designer who had recently moved to New Jersey for a new job in a tech company located in Jersey City. Before this, she had lived in different cities: Austin, Seattle, Chicago, and Miami, always moving for better work opportunities. She loved exploring new cultures and making friends wherever she went. This time, she rented an apartment in a partially occupied building. Some apartments were still under construction, and many were empty. Her apartment number was 302, and right in front of her was 303. She noticed a large clay water pot outside apartment 303, which made her believe someone lived there. She felt relieved knowing at least one neighbor was nearby. 2 days after moving in, Emily was making tea when she realized she had no ginger. Being friendly by nature, she decided to ask her neighbor for some. She rang the doorbell of apartment 303. No response. She rang it again. And again. Still nothing. Curious, she bent down and looked through the small gap under the door. She saw a shadow inside. Someone was clearly there, but they weren't opening the door. Feeling awkward and rejected, Emily returned to her apartment. Just as she closed her door, she heard the neighbor's door open. She rushed out, thinking they had finally decided to answer. But when she stepped into the hallway, the door of apartment 303 was open, and no one was there. Inside, the apartment was completely dark. She waited for a minute and softly said, "Hello? Is anyone there?" No reply. Thinking the person may have stepped out briefly, she returned to her apartment and continued with her evening. Around midnight, strange sounds began coming from apartment 303. It sounded like chanting, drums, and women singing in an unfamiliar language. The noise was so clear, it felt like it was happening inside her own apartment. Emily tried to sleep, but the sound only grew louder. What disturbed her the most was that the language didn't sound like English, Spanish, or any language she had ever heard. Finally, with a pounding headache, she decided to confront them. She walked to apartment 303. The door was slightly open. She knocked, but no one answered. Slowly, she pushed the door and stepped inside. The living room lights were on, but the apartment was empty. 3 bedroom doors were closed. The singing suddenly stopped. Then, she heard the sound of anklets. Ching, chink, ching. Footsteps tapping on the floor. The sound came from the left bedroom. Emily walked toward it. She opened the door. The room was empty. No furniture. No people. Her heart started racing. Suddenly the anklet sound returned, this time from the living room. She turned slowly. Standing in the middle of the living room was a woman. She wore a long red skirt, a matching blouse, and bangles on her arms. Her hair was extremely long, touching the floor. Her forehead was smeared with dark red powder. She was dancing, not happily, angrily. Her eyes shifted between rage and a twisted smile as she spun in slow circles. Emily couldn't move. The woman suddenly collapsed onto the floor. Emily whispered, "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman's head snapped up. Her eyes were completely white. Her lips had turned black. Her hair fell across her face and she began laughing loudly. Emily screamed and ran. She burst out of the apartment, shouting for help. Security guards rushed over and found her shaking and crying in the hallway. Between sobs, she told them about the dancing woman in apartment 303. One of the guards looked terrified. "Ma'am, nobody has lived in that apartment for years." Emily froze. They explained the truth. Years ago, a young woman had lived there who dreamed of becoming a dancer. Her family disapproved and constantly insulted her passion. She practiced every night. One evening, she was found dead inside the apartment. Some said heart failure. Others said suicide. No one knew the truth. After her death, residents began hearing dance sounds at night. Footsteps, music, Anklets. The family abandoned the apartment. No one else ever stayed there, but no one has ever seen her, the guard said quietly. You're the first, the guards advised Emily to move immediately. The next morning, she packed her bags and left. She moved into a shared women's hostel instead of living alone. Years have passed. Emily has changed jobs several times, but she has never lived alone in an apartment again. She says privacy no longer matters to her. Peace no longer matters. Only safety does. Because some doors should never be opened.